Hi guys, it's me, Mr. Bertoch, your ridiculously handsome science teacher. And in this video, we're going to learn about the seasons. Right now, as I gaze out my window, I am on the third floor, and as I look out over, and we're on the top of a big hill, I look out across the forest where I live in Charleston, West Virginia. It is very barren, actually, and kind of ugly. It's usually really pretty, but this time of year, it's kind of ugly because there are no leaves on the trees. We are in winter. As I film this, it's in January. And so it's the middle of winter, and there are no trees there. Well, there are trees, but none of them have their leaves. There are no leaves on the trees. And so it looks pretty barren. But in a couple of months, say around March, what's going to happen? All of a sudden, all those trees are going to come back to life. Not that they're really dead, but they're going to look like they come back to life because they're going to get leaves. The leaves are going to grow and flowers are going to come out, especially on the flowering trees. It's just going to be so pretty. Where I live is really, really pretty for most of the year, except for winter. Okay. And then those leaves, they'll expand and fully grow. And then it's going to get really hot, right? We call that summer. And later on, it's going to get so just absolutely gorgeous. The most pretty time of the year where I live is autumn because of all these trees in the forest, this deciduous forest. All the leaves turn like a brown and a gold and yellow, and it's just so pretty. And then we'll return to the barren ugliness that I'm in right now. And we call that cycle seasons. Of course, you are familiar with seasons. Where you live maybe even has seasons. Much of the world has or goes through some variation of seasons, predictable changes throughout the year. Not the entire world, though. There are some places, such as the tropics and the poles, that really don't experience seasons, or at least the seasons are different or shorter than they are in the rest of the world. Places that have these 4 predictable seasons are called temperate. And we say that those areas are in the temperate zone. So that's a big, fancy, sciencey word, temperate or temperate zone, that just means a place that experiences seasons. What is causing these seasons in the temperate zone? The first thing you have to understand, actually, let's talk about where the temperate zone is. So, and this is not exact because different places, different parts of the world experience different things depending on ocean currents and atmospheric currents and other conditions that might affect it. But generally speaking, you're going to experience seasons or in the temperate zone from above the tropics up through toward the poles. So once I get above the Tropic of Cancer, or the tropic above or below, depending on what we're talking about, of Capricorn, on up toward the poles, then I'm in the temperate zone. Okay, but again, it's not precise or exact because some areas are well above or below the tropics, and they're still warm year round. So what is causing, pray tell, these changes in the seasons? Why is there a predictable change throughout the year? And that's a big clue. Throughout the year, to what is causing these changes. Well, what happens on a yearly basis? 365 days for the most part, like 365.25 days. What's happening? The Earth is a planet. You live on a planet. Congratulations. Welcome to Earth. And this planet that we inhabit happens to orbit, thank goodness, a star. And I say thank goodness because it would be very cold if it didn't. There are some planets actually that don't orbit stars, and sad for them because they're cold. But we have a star, a constant source of heat and energy, not too far away, about 93 million miles away. And it's producing this heat and light, and it's radiating out from the sun in every direction. And as we orbit the sun, we are able to, the Earth warms up as a result of that radiation, that heat and light that are constantly bombarding the Earth. Now, how long does it take for the Earth to orbit the sun? It takes 1 year. Exactly. Well, not exactly. Like I said a minute ago, 365.25 days, but more or less a year to orbit the sun. That's why we have leap year, to make up for that extra 0.25 days. Every 4 years, we have to throw in an extra day just to get us back in sync with where the year should be. So the Earth takes 1 year to orbit the sun. And as it orbits the sun, different parts of the Earth get more light and energy, and other parts get less light and energy. The parts getting more light and energy are going to be warmer, or in other words, summer, and the parts getting less light and energy are going to be colder, or in other words, winter. Why are some parts getting more light and energy and other parts getting less light and energy? What's going on there? Is it because some parts are closer to the sun and some parts are further away? I mean, that really doesn't make sense because we're all on the same Earth. So while it is summer in the northern hemisphere, it's actually winter in the southern hemisphere. That means that northern hemisphere would be like Europe and North America. Southern hemisphere would be like South America, Africa, Australia. Okay. So while it's summer in the north, it's winter in the south, and vice versa. And we're on the same Earth. So one part of the Earth can't be closer while the other part's further away. Can it? Well, yes, obviously it can. Well, how? So the Earth is tilted on its axis. It's not straight up and down. If it were, there wouldn't be seasons. The Earth is tilted slightly. It's leaning because it's tired. I don't know. It's leaning on its axis. And as it orbits around the sun, then through part of the year, where I'm going to say top, it's really not top because it's just our perspective, but the northern hemisphere is for part of the year leaning towards the sun, and then as it orbits around the sun, then later during the day, the northern hemisphere is leaning away from the sun, and the opposite is the case for the southern hemisphere. So, and this changes because as the Earth orbits around the sun, then what was on leaning towards is now away, and vice versa for the other hemisphere. So we go through this cycle of summer, and then as we are starting to change towards, we're coming around the side of the orbit, then we're in spring in one hemisphere and autumn in the other hemisphere. And then as we go behind to the other side, maybe we come into winter, and then we come around to the front side or whatever, and then maybe we're spring and autumn again, depending on where you are, over and over and over and over again, year after year after year, your entire life, and your grandchildren's entire life, and your great-grandchildren's entire life, and your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren, forevers and evers. creating predictable seasons in the temperate zones. Hi guys, thanks for watching my video. These rambling science videos where I go unscripted and just kind of barf up all the science knowledge out of my head are part of a series that go along with an online class that I teach, which you can sign up for if you go to handsomescienceteacher.com. I also have a whole bunch of free resources for homeschoolers. I have hundreds of articles on every topic that covers your entire science curriculum from 5th through 8th grade. I have online games and quizzes, all curated and written by this handsome guy, a science teacher with, well, three degrees, but 2 of them are in science. So it's targeted right to and directly to your science students. So sign up, subscribe to the channel, and I release lots of videos. Also, in addition to these ones, lots of little short videos that are like 2 minutes long that cover science topics. Those ones you don't get to see my handsome face, but they're still good videos and they're much more targeted, and those ones are scripted, so you don't have to hear me like you are right now going blah blah blah. The end. Subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye.